Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss about a new topic, that is strain development. What is a strain? It is a particular type of species of microorganism. It is one particular species of microorganism. Okay. Now we have studied primary screening and secondary screening. So in primary screening and secondary screening, we isolate and detect and identify an organism having a capability of producing industrially important or commercially important product. Now, once you have isolated the organism producing a valuable product, it becomes necessary to increase the product yield to minimize the production cost. Okay. So, as we have isolated the organism, now it becomes our duty, or the next thing we need to do is to increase the product yield. How can we increase the product yield? By designing a suitable fermentation medium. We will design a medium which will give you a maximum product yield, or we can refine each and every step of fermentation process, or the third aspect is improving the productivity of the strain, improving the production ability of the microbial strain. And the last approach is given more weightage and more importance, that is we increase the product producing ability of the organism, which is called as strain improvement. Now, how can we increase the production capability of an organism? Okay, the techniques and the approaches that are used to genetically modify a strain to increase the production of the desired product is known as strain improvement or strain development. Okay, so we use various techniques, various approaches. We genetically modify the organism so that the product formation ability, the production ability of the organism is greatly increased. The process, the technique, the approach by which we increase the production of the desired product by modifying the organism is called as strain improvement or strain development. So there is a positive modification, and this is generally achieved by genetically modifying the organism. The original organism that is found in nature is called as wild type of organism, and now we are not going to use wild type of organism. Why? Because it gives a less product formation. Okay, so we are going to modify the organism, and when we modify the organism, we modify it because we should get more production, and that process is called as strain improvement or strain development. How can we do strain development or strain improvement so that the organism produces more quantity of product? Is by mutant selection, number 2 recombination, and number 3 recombinant DNA technology. So today we are going to study mutant selection. Okay, so now let us first understand what is a mutant. See, what is a wild type of organism? The organism which naturally exists in, or the organism as it is which exists in nature. What is a mutant? It is a modified organism. Let us first understand. So the first concept is mutant selection. Let us first understand what is a mutation. What is a mutation? A sudden heritable change in the genetic makeup of an organism. A sudden heritable change in the genetic makeup of an organism is called as mutation. Mutation can be spontaneous, mutation can be induced. Spontaneous means what? They occur automatically because of exposure to certain radiation or chemicals. We are not going to do it. It occurs automatically during DNA replication. There is a mistake and it causes mutation. So, genetic change means what? At genetic level. Change occur in the DNA of the organism. Okay, and it is heritable means what? It is transmitted from one generation to another generation. But mutations can be induced. Induced means what? We deliberately carry out. ओके हम ऐसा कुछ चेंज करते हैं, ऐसा कुछ केमिकल एक्सपोजर करते हैं ऑर्गेनिज्म को सो दैट इट अंडरगोज म्यूटेशन. Okay, so when mutations are deliberately carried out, we call it induced mutation, right? Okay, how do you induce mutation in an organism? By using certain chemical or physical agent. Okay, so any chemical or physical agent which increases the frequency of mutation is called as a mutagen. So we use a material, either a substance which is either chemical or a physical substance, okay, which is called as a mutagen. So by using a mutagen, either physical mutagen or chemical mutagen, we induce mutation in an organism. Okay. Physical mutagens like UV rays, X-rays, gamma rays, chemical mutagens like alkylating agents like DMS, EMS, ethyl methyl sulfonate. Okay, then intercalating agents like acridine dyes, like acryflavin, proflavin. These are fluorescent dyes. So you can use any acridine dyes, you can use any alkylating agents, you can use HNO2, hydroxylamine, nitrous oxide, any chemical agent, okay, which we call as a mutagen. What is a mutagen? Physical or chemical agent which increases the frequency of mutation. Okay, so we cannot wait for spontaneous mutation because they occur automatically, unknowingly in an organism. So what we do is, if you want a mutant organism, a mutated organism for carrying out industrial production, we induce mutation in an organism by using either physical or chemical agent. Okay. Now, when you induce mutation in an organism by exposing the organism to any radiation like UV ray or any alkylating agent, right, what happens? Sometimes the mutations are major, okay, and sometimes the mutations are minor. Okay, major means sudden. If you expose the organism to any mutagen, the organism undergoes major mutation. What are those? Say for example, okay, and these major mutations are of very much importance. Okay, so many mutations bring about marked changes in the biochemical characteristics of the organism, and these changes are positive change that we are interested in. These changes, marked changes, prominent changes, such mutations are called as major mutations. They are very helpful in strain improvement. Say for example, Streptomyces griseus is an organism which produces streptomycin, okay, monocytostreptomycin. Then Streptomyces aureofaciens, strain number S604, okay, this organism upon mutation produces 6-dimethyl tetracycline in place of tetracycline. See, the naturally existing organism, the wild type of Streptomyces aureofaciens produces tetracycline. Okay, but the mutated organism upon major mutation produces the product 6-dimethyl tetracycline. This is the 6-dimethyl tetracycline is the most important valuable antibiotic that we use. So such major mutations improve a strain and give us a desirable product, and that too in a large quantity. Okay. In contrast, most of the improvements after mutations are very minute. Okay, most improvements in biochemical production have been done due to stepwise accumulation. Okay, see, in major mutation, suddenly a prominent change occurs, but sometimes there are minor changes, and such mutations are called as minor mutations, and they are brought about in minor genes. What happens? See, for example, when we expose Penicillium chrysogenum, okay, when we expose this organism Penicillium, which is able to produce antibiotic penicillin, when this was exposed to UV light, very minute change occurs in the organism, or the the production yield increased only by say 2 to 5%, right, after exposure of organism to UV light for one cycle. So there are minor changes in the production, minor yield. So this organism is repeatedly exposed to UV light. First cycle, then grow the organism. Second cycle of exposure to UV light, then grow the organism. Third cycle of exposure of the organism to UV light. So that means in stepwise manner, we every day or day after day, we go on exposing the organism to UV light. First day we give some dose. On second day we again give the dose of UV light. Third day we again give the dose of UV light, and go on incubating in between. That means in stepwise manner, we are improving the strain. Such improvement is called as minor mutation, or this is brought about by minor genes. So after exposure to multiple 20 or more cycles, the organism now gives high yield of the product. So this is called as stepwise mutation, stepwise accumulation. Okay. For example, Penicillium chrysogenum strain number E151. This is a mutated organism which was obtained after multiple number of cycles of exposure to UV light, yields 55% more penicillin than the original strain. Okay, so Penicillium chrysogenum was used for penicillin production, but the yield was very low, and hence this organism was mutated. Okay, how it was mutated? It was mutated by using a physical mutagen, that is UV light. What is done here? The culture of the organism is exposed to UV light, but if it is exposed for only one cycle, it shows minor increase in production yield. So it was repeatedly exposed for multiple number of cycles, and finally we got a strain number E151 of Penicillium chrysogenum, which yielded 55% more penicillin than the original strain. Such mutations which occur in a stepwise manner are called as minor mutation. Okay, so by one or the other means you mutate the organism by using a chemical mutagen or by a physical mutagen. Now the most important thing is selection of mutated organism. Okay, you have to select the mutated organism which is showing improvement in biochemical characters, which is showing increase in production yield. Okay, there are different methods of selecting, that is isolation and selection of auxotrophic mutant, isolation and selection of analog resistant mutant. There are other methods also. The most important method and the method which we are going to discuss today is isolation and selection of auxotrophic mutant. Okay. What is an auxotroph? First of all, auxotroph is an organism which is deficient in certain, you can say, nutrients, which is nutrition, or rather auxotrophic mutants are nutritionally deficient mutants. They are nutritionally deficient organism. They require certain nutrition for growth. Okay. So what is an auxotrophic mutant? Nutritionally, biochemically deficient organism requires particular nutrition for growth in the medium. If that growth promoting factor or nutrition is absent in the medium, the organism will not grow. Okay, so that is an auxotrophic mutant. Right. Auxotrophic mutants require certain growth promoting factors. Okay, yeah, growth factors like vitamins, amino acids in the medium so that they can grow. In the absence of these growth factors like vitamins or amino acids, they do not grow. Such organisms are called as auxotrophic mutants. Now we are going to study how to select auxotrophic mutants. Okay. In wild type strain, the production of primary metabolite is controlled by feedback mechanism so that it is produced in required level. Right. The synthesis of metabolic end product is controlled due to inhibition of key enzyme in the biosynthetic pathway. Understand what does it mean? If we have a wild type of organism, a naturally existing organism, okay, in a stepwise manner, one compound, say A, is converted into C. Okay, in a stepwise manner. A is the reactant and B is the product. Sorry, C is the product. As soon as the product is formed in a definite quantity, the synthesis of product will be stopped. Got it? So in wild type of organism, primary metabolite production is controlled by feedback mechanism. Right. Look at the last point. The synthesis of metabolic end product is controlled due to inhibition of key enzyme in the biosynthetic pathway. So here A is the starting point and C is the end point. C is your product. As soon as the product C is produced in a definite quantity required by the organism, the production of the product C will stop. This is what happens naturally because C is not required in enormous amount. It is required in a definite quantity, and if that much quantity is produced in the cell, the production of C will stop. Why? How production of C will stop? By feedback inhibition process. How? Feedback inhibition process. Let us look at this pathway and understand. Okay. So this is a metabolic pathway. Here in this diagram, A is the starting point and D is your product. So it said D is the product required by the organism, or the product that is produced by the organism. So, but the production of D occurs in a stepwise manner. A is first converted to B. You know metabolic pathway. Like just imagine EMP pathway. Glucose is first converted into glucose 6-phosphate, then into fructose, glucose 1,6-diphosphate, then fructose 1,6-diphosphate, like that. So A is first converted into B. This step is catalyzed by enzyme 1. This is a very critical enzyme because if A is not converted into B, final product D will not be formed because the steps will not move ahead. Okay, so A converted to B by enzyme 1. Enzyme 1 is the most important key enzyme. Okay, B is then converted into C by enzyme number 2. C is then converted to D by enzyme number 3, and D is your final product. Organism requires D in some quantity, and as soon as that much quantity of D is produced, the production of D will stop in under natural condition. Why production of D will stop? Because the product of this metabolic pathway, the product of the metabolic pathway is D, will go as soon as product D is produced in a sufficient quantity, the product D will go and inhibit enzyme 1. It will go and inhibit enzyme 1. It will stop the process, or it will control the enzyme 1, which is the key enzyme. So it will stop the enzyme 1 from acting. So as soon as enzyme 1 is inhibited, A will not be converted into B. And if A is not converted into B, D will not be formed. This is called as feedback inhibition. So the final product of the metabolic pathway goes and inhibits the key enzyme, that is the first enzyme, and hence production of D will stop. This is called as feedback inhibition. This is what happens in a metabolic pathway. Now what we have to do is, when we are carrying out industrial production, we want that D should be produced continuously in a large quantity. And for that purpose, we have to stop the feedback process. We do not allow D to go and inhibit enzyme 1. So what we do is, in auxotrophic mutant selection, we inhibit feedback mechanism. What we do is, we inhibit feedback mechanism. So the removal of this feedback control assists in isolation of mutant so that they overproduce the metabolite. The product D will be overproduced. Overproduced matlab produced in a large quantity. Uncontrolled manner D will be produced, and that is desirable to us in any industrial production. So for that, what we have to do? We have to remove the feedback control. Okay, we will, as I have shown here, blue colored crosses, we remove the feedback control. So if that feedback control is removed, A will be continuously converted into D. We will not stop enzyme 1 from carrying out its action. Okay, example. Okay, now we are going to discuss this with an example. Overproduction of amino acid lysine by mutant strain of Corynebacterium glutamicum, wherein the control systems are removed. We remove the feedback control. We remove the control means, as soon as we remove the control, the product will be continuously produced, overproduced, and that is what is desirable as far as the production cost. If you want to reduce the production cost, if you want more production, more yield of the product, you have to stop, you have to remove the feedback control system. We are taking an example of production of amino acid lysine by mutated organism, that is Corynebacterium glutamicum. So look at this pathway. What Corynebacterium glutamicum does, how it produces amino acid lysine. See, First of all, aspartate, which is received from TCA cycle, aspartate is converted into beta aspartyl phosphate. Aspartate is converted into beta aspartyl phosphate. Look at this pathway. How aspartate is converted into beta aspartyl phosphate? By the action of enzyme aspartokinase. Okay, the enzyme aspartokinase, this is the key enzyme, right? You can say enzyme number 1. Aspartate is converted into beta aspartyl phosphate by enzyme 1 aspartokinase. Okay, then this is converted into beta aspartic semialdehyde. Beta aspartic semialdehyde is converted into lysine. Beta aspartic semialdehyde is also converted into homoserine phosphate, and then threonine, and then oxobutyrate and isoleucine, and so and so. We are not interested in that. We are interested in aspartate is converted first into beta aspartyl phosphate by the enzyme aspartokinase, which is the key enzyme, important enzyme. Aspartyl phosphate is converted into aspartic semialdehyde, which is converted into homoserine as well as into lysine. Homoserine is then converted into threonine. Threonine and lysine, both of them together, what I am saying, threonine and lysine, both of them together go and inhibit the enzyme aspartokinase and stop the process. Okay, so lysine and threonine together go and inhibit the enzyme E1, key enzyme aspartokinase, and stop the production. Okay, now how we have mutated the organism now. Our auxotrophic mutant Corynebacterium glutamicum that we are using in this pathway is a mutant. It is an auxotrophic mutant. Auxotrophic mutant of what? Homoserine. The organism requires homoserine for its growth. If homoserine is not present in the medium, or if homoserine is given in a very minute quantity, then threonine will be produced in very minute quantity. Got it? Aspartic semialdehyde is directly converted into lysine, but aspartic semialdehyde is converted into threonine only when homoserine is present. Okay, so this organism is a homoserine deficient organism. So you give homoserine in a very small quantity and threonine will not be formed in threshold amount, in maximum amount. So if threonine is present in very small amount, it will not inhibit aspartokinase, because aspartokinase is inhibited together by threonine and lysine. So what we do here, we stop giving homoserine, so we stop producing threonine, and when we stop producing threonine, the key enzyme aspartokinase will not be inhibited. Only lysine will be produced. Okay, so one part of the cycle will continue and will continuously get overproduction of lysine, and the the inhibition of aspartokinase is inhibited. Okay, this is how we overproduce lysine. Once again, so aspartate is converted into aspartyl phosphate by aspartokinase. Aspartyl phosphate is converted into aspartyl semialdehyde, which is converted into lysine. We allow only this pathway to continue. We do not allow the production of threonine. How we do not allow? By controlling the quantity of homoserine, because the mutant organism which you have used is an auxotrophic mutant of homoserine. Don't give it homoserine, it will not produce threonine. And if threonine is not produced, the aspartokinase enzyme, the first key enzyme, will not be inhibited and lysine will be produced in large amount. Okay, so let us discuss now the control of lysine synthesis in Corynebacterium glutamicum is given in the pathway. Here the first enzyme of the pathway is aspartokinase. Inhibited only when both lysine and threonine are synthesized above threshold level. Above a definite quantity they are synthesized, and together they go and inhibit aspartokinase, which we call as feedback control. The mutated organism is unable to convert aspartic semialdehyde into homoserine. Okay, because it grows only in a homoserine supplemented medium, right? The mutant that you are using for the production of the mutant Corynebacterium glutamicum is a homoserine mutant, unable to grow in the absence of homoserine medium. So if homoserine is present in very low concentration, threonine will be produced in low concentration and aspartokinase enzyme will not be inhibited and lysine would accumulate in medium. Okay. Thus, we will get high yield of lysine by inhibiting feedback control. Thus, the knowledge of a biosynthetic pathway help us to construct or develop a desired mutant. So, here we have developed a mutant of Corynebacterium glutamicum. Okay, how we have mutated the organism? We have converted it into an auxotrophic mutant which is deficient in homoserine. And if you do not add homoserine in the medium in sufficient quantity, threonine will not be produced, only lysine will be produced and feedback control will be lost and you can get overproduction of lysine. This is how auxotrophic mutants are selected, right? And strains are improved. This is how strain improvement takes place. Now there are other methods of selection also, like selection of revertant mutants, selection of analog resistant mutants and so on, chemical resistant mutants, etc., etc. This one method is sufficient. Now the other two methods of strain improvement are recombination and recombinant DNA technology that we will discuss in next lecture.